Hello, Gene Schwimmer here. Welcome to today's vlog. Today I'm going to start something new. I get these little items that I want to talk about. They're not long enough, I think, to justify an entire vlog dedicated just to each of these little items. So I'm going to start something new called Miscellany. And what I'm going to do in Miscellany, occasionally, no particular schedule, is talk about some of these little items that come up. So the first one, actually this one just came in today. There's a writer for a website called PJ Media. His name is Charlie Martin. He's predicting, well, as you know, the impeachment, whatever you want to call it, the public part of it, the rigged public part of it, since Chairman Schiff gets to choose all the witnesses and gets to deny all the witnesses that the Republicans want. And that's what he's done so far. Every single witness that the Republicans have requested to call, every such request has been denied. But we have Charlie Martin predicting, nevertheless. See, we thought, or I thought, a lot of people thought it was a foregone conclusion that the Democrats in the House had already decided, virtually from the day that Trump was elected, to impeach him. That at the end of this show trial that Schiff is doing, that the House would vote for articles of impeachment and send them over to the Senate. But Charlie Martin, he's predicting that that won't happen, that at the end of the day, the Democrats will not vote articles of impeachment. I'm just going to read you some quotes from him to let you see what his thinking is, because he raises an interesting argument here. So here it is. The Democrats have to go to trial in the Republican-dominated Senate, where the whistleblower can be called for public testimony under oath, where Alex Vindman can be challenged by a former judge advocate general about his violations of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, where people can be called to testify in public what they've said in the Star Chamber. That would be the secret hearings that Schiff has been holding. Because, for instance, getting to this Vindman, so far, he is not one of the witnesses whom Schiff is going to call. So you can just be sure, and in fact, there's an article by Byron York, I'll link to it in the description, showing weaknesses in Vindman's testimony that actually help Donald Trump. And so he may not be allowed to testify in the House, but in the Senate, he would be compelled to testify. That's what Charlie Martin is saying here. So getting back to the quote, where people can be called to testify in public what they've said in the Star Chamber, that Ukraine never knew about aid being suspended, and that the president of Ukraine denies any pressure, and where House members can't be threatened with ethics complaints for asking inconvenient questions, where what already looks like a shady investigation of a made-up crime can't be controlled. And so Martin predicts that at the end of the day, the House will not impeach, will not send over articles of impeachment. This is what he thinks that the House will do instead. My guess, meaning Charlie Martin, my guess is that this will hang on until after Thanksgiving. Then they will announce in high dudgeon that because of GOP obstruction and the risk of the still secret whistleblower, along with the proximity to the election, they can't press on in the Senate, where the evil Mitch McConnell will drag out the trial and thwart the will of the people. That last sentence makes no sense as far as an argument from the Democrats. To me, that Mitch McConnell will drag out the trial and thwart the will of the people. Well, this is the will of the House and the will of the Senate. The will of the people is the election that will be coming up. That's what really matters at the end of the day. By time a trial is concluded, we'll be drawing close to the election. So what is the point of all this? Well, it's to damage Donald Trump before the election, because they don't think they can beat him otherwise. That's the first item. So now on to the second item, which comes out of the Bible. The Bible, as we all know, provides valuable moral lessons, lessons that can help us in our daily lives and again teach us an important moral lesson. The lesson that this story is going to teach is about the Second Amendment. The story, David and Goliath. Now we all know the story of David and Goliath. You got this humongous giant, Goliath. You have the little shepherd boy, David, who defeats Goliath with a sling. Has a sling, rock hits Goliath in the head, kills him dead. Now imagine that David didn't have a sling. Imagine, in other words, that David had been unarmed. Then how would that story have turned out? How would history be different if David had not been armed? So let's look at a modern day story of, say, a 90-pound woman and a 250-pound rapist who intends to rape her and then kill her afterwards so as not to leave a witness. How would that story turn out if the woman did not have a gun? Well, we know how that story would turn out because that's the way that story has turned out in all too many incidents. So the moral lesson is that if you're a 90-pound woman, buy a gun. And it's a lesson for the rest of us, including a 180-pound man, such as myself, buy a gun, which I did, and I'm thinking of buying a new one. I'm about to go shopping for a new one. That's a valuable lesson from the Bible, and I'm going to talk about this more in a future vlog, about defending oneself, about the right to defend oneself, and about the necessity of each of us availing ourselves of that right. Next item. This item is, well, this is a general comment I want to make about Twitter, because one of the hardest things for me to do is to, well, you see what I do is I go on Twitter. I don't post just regular items on Twitter. I only use it for advertising. Some of you may already know this, that when I do a new vlog, the day that the vlog is posted, I will go on Twitter and just every 15, 20 minutes or so throughout the day, just put a little tweet out there notifying people of the vlog and providing a link. That's all I use Twitter for, but the problem for me is when I go on to Twitter to do that, because I like all points of view. So I have tweets that show up on my timeline from conservatives and from liberals. And some of the ones from the liberals, they just, it's very hard for me not to respond. And that's a damage that I see that Twitter does to the general collective psyche. Social media in general. You have people, especially younger people, teenagers and even younger people, committing suicide because of things that are said about them on, well, Facebook or Instagram. I don't use any of this stuff. What can I say? I'm an old guy. I have no idea what Instagram is, how it works, Reddit, any of that stuff. I tried. I just haven't been able to figure it out, which I think is good for me. Otherwise, I would be as crazy as a lot of the people I see commenting on Twitter. But it really raises the blood pressure sometimes that you have this urge to respond. I don't respond. Well, I can't say that I don't respond. There have been rare occasions where I have responded. It's a hard urge to resist. I have to try harder. But that's just my general comment about Twitter. I think it's very harmful. I wish there were no such thing as Twitter. But as the genie says, you can't put me back in the bottle. You can't put the genie back in the bottle once it's out. It doesn't make any sense to lock the barn door after the horses have all run out. You get the idea, right? I just have a big problem with Twitter. Okay, let's see what else we got here. I'm going down my list here. Oh, I want to talk about the Constitution. We were talking about the Second Amendment before. I want to talk about it gets back to what I was talking about, impeachment. That was my first item that I wanted to talk about. This is in a different sense. When you're talking about whether it's justifiable to impeach a president and remove a president from office, what I try to do in my videos is mention a point that other people haven't mentioned, where it's not to proclaim my own brilliance, it's just something that I see that I think other people have missed, or they caught it but they didn't talk about it. So, as we all know, well, let me read you the exact language from the Constitution. It's Article 2, Section 4. The President, Vice President, and all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. Where there seems to be a debate whenever this matter of impeachment and removal from office comes up is what constitutes a high crime and misdemeanor, a high crime or a misdemeanor. Former President, the late Gerald Ford, said a high crime and misdemeanor, or a high crime or misdemeanor, is whatever 2/3 of the Senate can agree that it is. That's one definition, but to come up with a more precise definition, I would look at this one word in the Constitution in that section: treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. So what other says to me that a crime or a misdemeanor has to rise to the level of treason or bribery. Otherwise, the section would say treason, bribery, or high crimes and misdemeanors. You understand? When you put that other in there, or other high crimes and misdemeanors, then you're raising the threshold to treason and bribery. So you have to look at high crimes and misdemeanors in that light, and then, say with this whole Ukraine show trial business, decide whether whatever you think Trump did rises to that level. Next item, and I guess you could call this entertainment. To me, it's justice. It's turning the table on a thug, in this case an Antifa thug, that, well, just watch the video. Some Antifa thug attacks somebody or tries to attack somebody, and, well, just watch. That, to me, was very satisfying, seeing a law-abiding citizen turn the table on one of these thugs. I've watched that video several times. I could watch it several times more. Okay, we're getting down two more, I think, here. This one is about the Mini Cheetah. Okay, what is a Mini Cheetah? MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, they created these little robots. I'm going to show them to you in a second, but these little robots, well, just watch the video.
Prank soccer.
Oh, God.
Whoa!
Yeah! Somebody toggle their switch. Go. Oh!
Okay, you saw that video. It's cute and it's amusing. It's interesting, but to me, it also looked a little scary. these robots, which I understand are nearly indestructible too. So the thought I had, imagine, and this I guess could go back to David and Goliath, because now I'm going to talk about Israel, but imagine you're terrorists in Lebanon, let's say, Hezbollah, and then a whole swarm of those things just come over the hill, just start streaming toward you, outfitted with grenade launchers and automatic weapons, machine guns. And imagine trying to stop those things, trying to shoot each one of those little things coming at you. And especially if they come at you very fast, I would think that would be very scary. So the odds are small, but it would be really great if the Israeli army is looking at this. Somebody from the Israeli army or the Israeli government would see this video or see that video from MIT. Maybe I should send it to them. But knowing the Israelis, they may have thought of something like that already, because they are very, very resourceful, he said with ethnic pride. So that's that item. And the last item is Donald Trump, a little video of Donald Trump, a little excerpt of Donald Trump. He gave a speech today. It was an hour speech, a 1 hour speech, about an hour, to the Economic Club of New York, and very interesting to me because it was in New York. He got a very, very enthusiastic reception, talking about how well the economy is doing under him, listing all the things that he has done to make the economy as good as it is and to show how good the economy is. But what I want to show you, it's just a few seconds, very short clip in which he explains very succinctly why we should all vote for Donald Trump in 2020. So watch the video and I'll come back for a final goodbye.
The truth is, look, you have no choice, because the people we're running against are crazy. Okay? They're crazy.
And that's the vlog for today. As usual, thanks for stopping by. Thumbs up if you like this video. Share it with anybody you think would also like the video. Got any comments? You can put them in the comment section below the video. You can subscribe. As I always say, I love getting subscribers, new subscribers. And finally, most of all, come back and see me again. I will be right here waiting for you. And until I do see you again, bye.